everyone! Welcome back to Charmed Rewind!
Shut up, Phoebe.
Shut up, Phoebe!
Who
so
cares?
Funny. As I was writing my notes, I was like, I know exactly what Phelan's gonna say or do when this comes up. A lot of sighs. A lot of shut up, Phoebe. You didn't remember this episode very well when we went into it, did you?
No.
See, I remembered the hypocrisy. The fact that this was one of their strangely, I guess, better episodes of the time, but still like has a lot of issues. Like, for season 6, I think it's pretty good.
Filled with a lot of issues.
Well, we had another poll on Patreon, as we do every month, and it was actually a tie this time. So we're doing the episode that came first in chronological order, and then next month we'll do the next episode that won, which was 7-Year Witch. That's the one where Cole makes his triumphant swan song. So good. So actually, like, we have it pretty good in this episode because it's not that one. But the one
Love's still not enough in this episode.
But this one was a good one to pair with that, to tie, because it demonstrates the hypocrisy of the Cole storyline.
Mm-hmm.
This was season 6, episode 9, Little Monsters.
Little Monster, Red Cabbage, Howie Mandel. They act up when the sun goes down.
Not related to the 1989 film of the same name. My favorite childhood movie. It says on the Charmed Wiki that this episode was named after that movie, but that's not what it is. Like, Little Monsters referring to kind of bratty children is a thing that existed before the movie Little Monsters. That is, in fact, what the title of the movie Little Monsters is referring to.
Yep.
And this one, coincidentally. Anyway, anything else you want to say before we get into the plot?
Let's do it!
Let's do it! All right, well, we open with Phoebe at a fancy restaurant, and she is making out with her sugar daddy, Jason.
Shut up, Phoebe.
This is during the Jason storyline. I guess I could summarize what the storyline at the time in season 6. So you got the sugar daddy Jason love story. You've also got Chris is around, but they don't know that Chris is Piper's son yet. He is sending them on various missions because he is their white lighter, even though he can't heal or do anything. Leo is an elder at the time. I believe he's still separated from Piper, but raising the kid with her?
Yeah.
I think?
Guess.
Anyway, that's the story, I think, at the time. So anyway, Phoebe and Sugar Daddy Jason, they're making out. A waiter approaches them and clears his throat, just like you did. But he wasn't a snooty waiter. I think he was just trying to get their attention. Normally, it's a snooty waiter.
Yeah.
But he was just trying to bring them their wine. Although I don't know why he didn't just take another second to do something else and then come over when they were done making out.
Phoebe's like, I don't need wine. I have enough.
Don't bring her more wine. She kind of giggles in apology, and then the waiter's like, never apologize for a kiss. But yeah, he's bringing this wine over to them. Again, I don't know why he had to interrupt them for this. So he leaves, and Phoebe is like, well, that was embarrassing, much like most of her time on the show.
Yeah, she goes, you're embarrassing. And leaves.
You're embarrassing. And then he sets his napkin down and slowly walks out.
His napkin down, sets it on fire.
In a stroke of extreme relatability, Jason and Phoebe are here to celebrate Jason buying his granddad's winery. Is that, like, why are they drinking wine there? Does this have to do with the wine? The winery's in Rome, because that's when he's going to travel later. So why are they drinking wine at another place if he just bought a winery?
Yeah, it seems dumb.
Come on, man.
They never specified, like, they imported this from his winery, right?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
They don't specify that it came from anywhere in particular. I mean, like, the waiter says what kind of wine it is, but apparently there's some backstory where Jason's grandfather owned this winery, lost it at some point, and then Jason is buying it back as a way to, like, make his dead grandfather proud or something. But, like, who cares? This is rich fuck granddad's winery. This is the rich people human moment from a human man.
Yeah. Human.
Like, this is... The stupid storyline with Phoebe and Jason, like, we're supposed to, like, care about her stupid rich sugar daddy boss who bought the paper.
She doesn't care about any of her boyfriends.
I guess Jason's not one of the worst ones, but he's not great either, just by virtue of being a stupid rich guy. But anyway, they have this moment, Phoebe and Jason, where they're like looking at each other in the eyes. He's talking about this personal story with his grandfather. He calls Phoebe really special, like they're looking at each other with love in their eyes. And she says, "I love you too." And then there's a comedy record scratch.
Yeah, I can't believe they actually did that. It's so bad. Talk about embarrassing.
If they didn't add that comedy record scratch, you would wonder what the hell is going on, because they act like this is a really awkward moment caused by her empathy powers, because she felt that he was saying "I love you," but he didn't actually say "I love you." But you can imply from everything he says and does in this scene that he doesn't have to say it. You could say "I love you too" when someone doesn't actually say it if it is implied in their actions, I think. Especially the way he's given like goo-goo eyes, and apparently he was thinking it, so why are they acting like this is bad?
I don't know, because it's so funny and we care about storylines involving Phoebe's relationships.
It's like not even that amusing either, like even if you buy that it's like an awkward moment, like it's not really that funny. It's just like a reason to use Phoebe's empathy powers, because they never could really figure out what they were good for in the story.
It's always for her own self-crap.
She uses them a little bit for the main story of the episode, but not.
It's
it
mostly
really
personal gain all the time for her.
She didn't really gain anything with this either. Just awkward moments. Like I think sometime like they say she can channel people's emotions into their powers or something, and so she can use like shoot fireballs or something like that. You know, when other people can do it. I don't know. They try to really stretch, like, for reasons why this empathy is, like, doing anything worth a damn.
Levitation would be useful, but she forgot that.
No, it's cheaper to have her feel emotions. You would think this makes her relate to people more as well, but it doesn't. So, 0 for 0 on any of the empathy uses.
Yep.
Anyway, Paige orbs into the restaurant. She's off on the side somewhere. She makes things even more awkward. She comes over and she's trying to dance around telling Phoebe that they need her for like a demon fighting thing. They're like, Piper's got a power problem. You gotta go. She needs more power. And then Phoebe makes this like insane shocked face at the camera. Like, I took a screen cap of it and I posted it up on Blue Sky, so you can check that out on Blue Sky. No. But like, this was an insane face to make. And I was like, I'm less than 2 minutes in and already she's pulling this. Phoebe, calm down.
Can't with you, Phoebe.
She starts acting crazy. She bumbles away while like running into people and like making waiters drop food and everything. She's causing this scene. She's being way weirder than when she told her boyfriend that she loves him. Like she's like, "Oh no!" It's like, well, this was weirder than that. Why are you doing this?
Why are you the way that you are?
So yeah, they go over to Piper. She is fighting a demon. Apparently Chris sent her out there because he comes to check in on this later. But there's no real explanation for this largely out of character moment that she's fighting a demon. So she is, I say fighting, but she's actually just standing in an alley watching as their demon is eaten by another demon. Yeah. Kind of worked itself out.
I feel like sometimes the show just calls everything a demon and it's stupid.
Yeah, this is also... There's a lot of questions about what makes a demon, what makes a creature, what makes anything. This is one of the few times in the later seasons they have a demon that is like a full creature type thing as well, because it's usually just a guy in a black robe.
But these things act more animalistic.
Yeah.
And they act like they're
They act like they're another species or something. They act like they're another species or something, like an animal.
Yeah, well, they clearly are lizardy things.
Yeah, I guess they're not humans, but, like, it's different than just a guy in a robe demon.
Yeah, it's weird to just be like, these are demons, too. It's like... And it doesn't seem like they're planning evil things. It just seems like they're acting within their own nature.
Yeah. Like an animal. They're just eating
exactly
to survive, basically. It doesn't seem... I mean, I guess they know enough that they can team up with people. They team up with the sisters at one point, so I guess they're...
Yeah, that really worked out for them.
That really worked out. That seems like the only time they really act like kind of like they're not just animals doing what animals do. They're just like, oh yeah, I guess we'll team up. But otherwise it's like, bleh, running around, skittering around like lizard things.
Yeah.
And so it's eating this other demon who is just a guy. He's not like in any makeup or anything, but like this demon's like pulling out his guts, and he's like, it's like she's storing it. It's a girl demon. She's storing it in like a little bag. I mean, they know enough to have little bags to put things in, even though any other time they're just eating them. But she's putting it in a little bag, and she's taking out the guts.
To-go bag.
A to-go bag. And then I guess she takes enough out of this guy that he poofs away. Like
yeah.
He reached critical limit of guts, and then
yeah. Hopefully the guts didn't poof away, or she didn't accomplish much.
Yeah, how does that work? How?
Everything poofs and charm just so they don't have to deal with the bodies.
Yeah. A lot of confusing things going on. Well, the girls are watching this, and they're like, oh, well, I guess our work is done. We're going to leave. But never mind about this other demon. Just the one that we were after poofed away, so let's go. But this is when this creature notices them and flings Paige and Phoebe into a fence. This is such an awkward cut. Like, the monster does this little speed run toward the camera, like super fast, and then suddenly Piper is nowhere to be found as the other two stunt doubles are flung, because they were standing right next to each other, but suddenly she disappears, and those two are there getting flung into this fence, and there's this giant soft blanketed mattress on the ground. Like, you don't see a mattress, it just looks like a crash mat covered in a blanket, which is what it is. Yeah. But they just show it blatantly through the whole scene, just laying in this alley. So Piper's on her own. She tries to blow this monster up several times, but it doesn't work. So Paige zaps a power line over to it. She like orbs it over, and then it electrocutes it, and then that makes it explode. Apparently that was more powerful than Piper's explodey powers.
Yeah, that seems weird. But you would think this would factor into how they deal with these things after. It's like, okay, we needed electricity and a lot of it to take these out. Let's make a potion.
Yeah. The setup and payoff. It's Chekhov's power line, you know? This presents a lot of issues. The rest of the episode is very confusing because the impetus of the entire plot is they have killed this creature and she has left her baby behind. So they had to kill the creature to get into this situation where they have this baby, right? But then they say that there's no known vanquishing potion for these creatures, and they act like there's no way to fight them, even though they know easily how to fight it because they killed one to end up with this baby. But they never think, yet let's use electricity and then pay off that moment. They just go, how are we going to make a vanquishing potion? And then that is not really resolved either.
Yeah. It bothers me a lot that they kill this thing and then they just act like, yeah, we were justified in doing it. They never care. It's like, well, clearly the thing was protecting its young because you idiots were too close. You didn't stop to ask any questions. You murdered it.
She was eating someone.
But like, they don't know the situation was going on.
She was trying to kill them, I guess, to be fair.
Yeah, but then they find the baby and they'd be like, oh, well, it was reacting like most animals would if you got too close to its young.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the moment you're not going to be like, hey, wait a minute, do you have a baby before you kill a thing trying to
no, but it's just, they always do this. They don't care. They kill something and they're like, oh no, we've made a mess again.
Well, it's weird this episode tries to make it out like suddenly death matters and maybe the villains aren't necessarily black and white and but I mean with her I guess it is black and white because like the manticores, fuck them, the stupid demons, they have a whole bunch of other shit there, but like it seems weird like at this moment to be like, wait, what if they have families and lives and 3 dimensions to them and what, oh well, just a dude in black, explode.
And I'm not saying like they should be like, oh, we can't kill this thing because we don't understand anything, but they could have a little bit of empathy, especially old Phoebe.
They have a little bit. That is the debate really. Of this episode.
They kind of spit on the corpse and leave.
They try in the way that season 6 of Charmed tries, okay? So, yeah, they notice that the creature is left behind in a little burlap blanket. A babby? A babby there? The demon was pregnant? But anyway, okay, so they find this baby there. It looks largely like a human baby, unlike this creature that looked kind of lizard-like. But the baby's got like a lizardy tongue, so that's how they know it's a demon baby. They take the demon baby home, and I guess Piper has a crib that they can use at the moment. Wyatt's presumably killing someone with a sword off screen somewhere. So they've put him in the crib. Phoebe feels bad that they killed this kid's mom. So this is their moment of empathy, right? She's like, I feel bad for the baby that we not necessarily for the mom, but I feel bad that we killed the baby's mom because the baby's cute. And Phoebe, as we know, is obsessed with babies. She wants to eat babies.
I'm a little baby.
Phoebe gets over this pretty quick, though. She's all like, anyway, Jason, I told him I love you, too.
They have some slight few lines of concern. I really think they dropped the ball here with trying to tie this into the storyline of the season. I guess I didn't mention it this time. Also, there's the thing with Evil Wyatt, and they're trying to prevent Evil Wyatt, which is why Chris is there. Why did they not tie this story into, they're like, okay, so this baby, if we kill this baby, then we'll be saving all of these innocents that it could kill if it grew up to be evil. Why didn't they tie it into Wyatt is going to grow up to be evil and kill people? They wouldn't want to kill Wyatt, so why that story never get any lip service whatsoever?
Yeah, definitely should have.
They could have had that, because Piper's the one that kind of comes around on this, even though at first she's like, oh, stupid demon baby, whatever, but they never have that moment where they tie these stories in, or even if they have, I guess fuck the mom, because it turns out that, I don't know, they have this whole storyline with why she had the baby with this other guy or whatever, but like, I don't know, it's all messy. They throw in, I think, one too many things into the stew here.
Yeah.
So anyway, they have the baby. They're like, I feel bad, because maybe they have families and lives and stuff. I feel bad that it's a mom, but if it was a dad monster, fuck them, whatever. So Paige, she is not so torn about this. She's like, well, fuck the mom. She tried to kill us. Who cares? It's fine if we killed her. And Paige wonders why the baby looks like a human. The reason for this, of course, is because they're not going to put a baby in makeup, and they don't have the skill or the budget to do a full CGI or animatronic baby. But also, I guess they have a little bit of a story reason for this. But that's mostly the reason why they did that.
Yeah.
Piper has done away with her stupid baby upstairs, but whoa, Wyatt orbs into the crib to hang out with the monster baby. He's BFFs with the monster. Piper doesn't want him getting any ideas hanging out with the monster that's not herself. She just doesn't want them hanging out. While Paige and Phoebe are kind of connecting to this adorable monster baby, Piper, the only mother between them, is like, it's just a stupid fucking demon baby, let's kill him. Kill the baby. Paige is defending the baby. She says, well, just because the mom was a killer doesn't mean the baby's gonna grow up to be one. And Phoebe's like, no, I think evil's genetic. This is the big debate of the episode. But Paige is arguing that it's nurture and not nature that determines how a baby's gonna turn out. She says she relates to this because she's someone who was adopted. So does that imply, like, if she'd been raised with the Halliwells, like, who knows how the fuck her life would have turned out? She would have
been way more evil.
Yeah, so this is where I wrote a bunch of notes on this, because you really have to determine what exactly this thing is. So these are called manticores, and they're these kind of creature-like demons that move in packs, and they're venomous, and they eat people. But they act largely like animals. So, like, are they animals? Are they just a different species? Are demons that are in black robes the same sort of category wherein they instinctively must kill? If you're acting like these lizard creatures instinctively have to do that, does that mean demons also have these animal instincts that they can't control to kill people? Like, and killing to eat's not exactly the same thing as being evil. I don't know if these manticores are necessarily evil, because that is how they survive, is by eating people.
They just come off more like creatures.
Yeah. And, like, if they're gonna go with evil is genetic, they can't help it. This baby can't help it. Why is Cole blamed for being genetically predisposed to evil all the time? Apparently, it was outside of his control. And it was with the source thing. We know that was outside his control, but whatever.
It was Phoebe's decision.
Love wasn't enough. So they're like, all right, Phoebe, why don't you make some use out of your stupid empathy powers? Go see if you can get some evil off that baby. She goes over there. The baby's making some stock baby noises.
And she imagines Jason's face on the baby, and it's really awkward.
She can't sense anything good or evil there. The baby's a blank slate. I mean, I guess most babies, they're saying that some of them are born predisposed to evil, because, like, Leo has a whole exposition Leo moment later, so you would sense evil on the baby if it was genetically predisposed to it to begin with. If it was born evil.
Maybe it's born with...
Maybe it's Eveline. Yeah, I guess babies aren't usually evil, but we all know how Wyatt turned out. He's killing people with swords, so he started out evil.
We gotta mention, too, the title this episode almost said was Hot Mamas.
Yeah, they had an advertisement. They were advertising this episode as Hot Mamas. It was one of the pictures like Phoebe with a baby bottle and a like sexy bustier. we gotta describe this for the people so they know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is Phoebe with a sexy bustier and a bottle.
Ugh.
Yeah, and they've upped the cleavage on everyone. That is not Rose McGowan's body. Whose body is that they've given her? They even gave like Piper the cleavage, and she doesn't usually wear the cleavage outfits.
Yeah, that go like is it open all the way down?
Yeah, she's wearing J-Lo's dress. Hot
That's
mamas.
ridiculous.
That said, the advertisement says tonight, so that's how they advertised it up till the night it aired.
Yeah, apparently.
I don't know. Was that actually supposed to be the name or just the poster? Because sometimes they had different names on the poster for whatever reason.
The alternate title is Hot Mom.
I guess. Stupid. So anyway, this is when Chris shows up. He's like, hey, did you vanquish that demon for me? I didn't bother showing up for that, but did you do it? They explain the situation, and he immediately is like, well, vanquish the baby then.
Kill it with fire.
Just kill the baby. I did like Paige's response. It was pretty funny. She's like, we're not vanquishing a baby. What's wrong with you? And Chris is like, well, this could be the thing that turned Wyatt evil. Maybe he became Emperor Nickelback because he hung out with a monster baby. I think that's what happened.
Yeah. It's like, I agree. You lizards have some interesting ideas.
I guess now's the time to talk about Phoebe's love life.
Shut up, Phoebe.
They're like, let's put this on hold. What about the thing with Jason? What's going on here? Apparently she's avoiding him because she told him she loves him. Who cares? Chris is like, well, what are you going to do? And she's like, I don't know, guys just run out on you. When he said, he's like, no, about the baby.
Yeah.
He looks so annoyed.
I liked that moment with Chris being so annoyed.
He looks at her like she's the dumbest woman alive.
She was.
One of the few times you side with Chris, like, no, he is correct.
Uh-huh.
He's stuck with these idiots.
Very good Chris moment.
So, in the kitchen, Paige has answered the phone, and it's Daryl. Daryl is in the middle of an armed hostage negotiation at the post office, and he is foolishly asking for the sister's help. So he's like, all right, so I know the guy who's holding these hostages. He wouldn't hurt anybody. I think I can get through to him if I have a little bit more time and nobody dies. So can you help me like with magic so that I can get to him? Paige is like, yeah, sure. She decides, I guess, just to go alone, does not bother to tell the other two what's going on, even though Daryl did not just ask for her.
Yeah, but what's Phoebe gonna do?
Yeah, but also, like, Paige is not that helpful either.
She does get him in there without dying.
Yeah, but... Okay, we'll get into that. This is a strange Daryl subplot. One of the few Daryl subplots he gets that does not involve the sisters largely. I mean, Paige is part of it, but...
I guess it's the only time he gets powers, too, in the show, anyway.
Right, he did in the comics. Pretty badass. Stupid. Anyway, the other two are still in the, with the baby in the other room. Piper is playing peekaboo in an attempt to distract her son from the stupid demon baby. And she's like, yeah, that other baby's evil. Bad demon, stay away. Paige comes in and she says, all right, so Daryl called for help. I think this is a sign. This is fate. Because the temp agency hasn't called me lately. I was the one to answer the phone. I gotta save an innocent. This is all because I was meant to do this. This is my purpose in life. This is what she calls it. Her purpose in life is to help people and do this. And Phoebe is like, this is dumb bullshit. You're just the closest to the phone. Whatever. Yeah. Fate only applies to whoever her boyfriend is this week.
Well, when she comes in, too, she goes, like, guess who's on the phone? She's like, Jason?
Yeah. It's Jason, right?
It's all about Jason!
He said that stupid thing.
So Paige heads out. They do not ask what's going on with Daryl, just that she's got to help Daryl. And they're like, whatever. You would think this is the more pressing situation, because as far as they're aware...
it is.
As far as they're aware, this is just a baby being a baby, even if there is a future issue. It's just sitting there like a baby would.
Mhm.
But I guess the hostage situation with guns and the SWAT team and all that, whatever. Paige is on it. So as she's leaving, Chris is like, are you just going to let her go?
I like that Paige grabs her car keys. Like, why wouldn't she have just orbed over?
Well, she says she didn't orb because she didn't want people to see her because there's a whole big crowd and everything. So she drives there.
Orb right in front of them.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's inconsistent whether she knows where she's going to orb and how many people will be around,
I guess.
or if it'll matter. But she did take the car so that people wouldn't see her in the crowd. So Chris is like, you're just going to let her go? Unclear why she didn't ask them to join. It's weird. I guess she thought they were busy, but Phoebe immediately says she's going to go talk to Jason, so they weren't busy.
Nope.
And Chris is pissed off about all of this. And they're like, well, it's just a baby. Calm down. But also, I don't know why Paige didn't tell him about the hostage situation.
Chris, what's he going to do?
I don't know. He can orb. He can. That's basically all he can do as a half-white lighter, apparently.
She doesn't need him for that.
That's true. He's kind of useless, even though he's the one ordering them around to do stuff. So Phoebe is heading out to talk to Jason. She kisses Piper goodbye, and Piper looks disgusting. And then she just makes fun of her for her, like, dumb I love you blunder, like, I love you too. Great stuff.
It's good.
So Chris is like, all right, I'm going to go figure out what the fuck this baby is, while Piper just snores her way to the end of the scene. It's like she's high, like she's half awake, like, it's fine, whatever. Completely checked out.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in the alley where they killed the demon, the baby daddy shows up and he sees the burlap sack the kid was in, so I guess he knows the kid was there, and he's pissed. He, like, roars up into the sky. I don't know why he roars, because they revealed that this is not a manticore, this is just a guy, like a human.
What was the deal? Why is he turned into this thing?
He has cast spells on himself so he can protect his baby.
So he's just turned
Spoiler
into
alert, it's his baby. I guess I said he was the baby daddy.
Manticore-ish type thing.
Yeah, they make him look way too similar to the manticores for a story that tells us that he is not a manticore. He is a man who has enchanted himself to look like a beast, because the manticore baby is half human. It's his baby because a manticore mated with him. But, like, if you're going to distinguish that these are two different creatures, you cannot make them so similar with the same brown color palette and everything. Because I don't remember the twist in the episode. I remembered the episode, but not that part of it. So I thought it was just a manticore guy. And I thought they were going to say, you know, he wasn't so bad. Not all demons are genetically going to be evil. And that was why they were going to, you know, maybe the baby will be okay. He's raising them. But then they just sort of put in a loophole like, oh, well, the baby's half human anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
If a human raises him, he's fine. Demons are
half
evil.
Not evil.
He's half good.
It can have free will if it's part human.
Yeah, it was like they were so close to having a point. They were so close to getting it, and they still fumbled the football.
Of course. It's charmed.
All right, well, who cares about that? Daily Mirror scene. So Phoebe comes in, and then one of her coworkers is like, no, Jason asked not to be disturbed. And she scoffs. She's like, surely that doesn't mean me.
Ugh.
There's no other reason why he would say do not disturb than he wants to avoid her, right? They say that specifically he's talking about her. She cannot come in because Jason knows she's an unprofessional idiot and is going to bust in the middle of a meeting. And guess what she does?
She comes in and starts a sentence before she's opened the door too, to make it even dumber.
Yeah.
It's like, duh, you're such an idiot.
She's so unprofessional. Like, this is her boss. It's not just her boyfriend, it's her boss, but she's allowed to get away with these stupid things because she's dating him.
She should be fired.
Yeah, what if she pulled this with Elise? I don't think so. You can bust in on the meeting asking why she's avoiding her.
I guess they can't fire Phoebe, though, because she's the only reason the paper's still going.
She doesn't even do any work in this episode.
Important.
All she does at the Daily Mirror in this episode is breast boobily across the floor.
Breast boobily.
That's all she does.
Breast boobily. It should be her columns. Breast boobily.
So anyway, she bursts in the middle of this meeting. She's an idiot. And I think this is something to do with the winery because it's Italian people, because he speaks Italian to them. And she's surprised. She's like, oh, how did I not know that you speak Italian? But instead of...
He said, oh, mamma mia!
They get really stereotyping. You're like, oh no. She breasts boobily out of there.
Just what I needed.
So, okay, any normal human being, after making this mistake, you open the door, you see there's a meeting going on with your boss. You would go, oh, sorry, this isn't the time. You step outside, and then he'll try to smooth things over with the people in the office. They probably will not care. But instead of doing that, she just stays and starts arguing about why he doesn't want to see her. So she's embarrassed, but not that embarrassed.
Yeah.
We've tried nothing, and we're all out of ideas.
I'm going to keep doing my stupid thing. Ruin the meeting.
Jason has to take her out of the room. He has to, like, she is a child. Mm-hmm. He takes her out of there, and then they talk a little bit, and he's like, all right, maybe we can do this later? And she's like, all right, how about tomorrow night? And he's like, no, because I'm flying to Rome because of my dad's stupid winery or whatever. And then Phoebe is mad that her international sugar daddy is going on another trip. She's mad that he's going to Rome, even though he goes to Tokyo all the time. He travels the world, and she's mad. She says that he's doing this to avoid her, even though he does this because that's his job.
Better way to avoid her, which is fire her and break up with her.
Yeah. If he was smart, he would have done that. So Phoebe's like, you're running away because I told you that I love you and you love me too, but you're afraid of it. And then she leaves bitchily.
Yeah, I love I know you love me. Like, ugh. I mean, who could love you?
I guess she has empathy powers, so she knows that to be true, but I feel like his love would go away if someone did that. Her own
love for herself is clouding it. She just thinks everyone loves her. Yeah.
I feel like if your girlfriend's busting in on meetings going like, you love me! Yeah. That's when you break it off. This is toxic.
This is when, she breaks into his house with a knife. I had a dream you were with another woman.
It turns into her in that Poison Ivy sequel. Yeah. True professional behavior from Phoebe here. That's why it's fine to date your boss. I can't believe she made me root for the rich guy. So at the manor, Piper is standing there lazily with her hands in her pockets as Chris actually does some work, and he's reading from the Book of Shadows. He's discovered that the demon that they vanquished and the baby is a manticore, which is a venomous demon that travels in packs. They don't have a lot of information on them other than that.
Maybe they should have combined these plots, had the manticores eat Jason at the end, so they could have eaten the rich.
Yeah, it'd be pretty good. You'd be rooting for them. Maybe they aren't inherently evil.
They just have to steer them in the right direction.
Because the manticores travel in packs, they think that the pack is going to come get the baby sooner or later. So Chris's solution is, let's get rid of the little brat. And Piper is like, nah, I'm a mom. I can't go around vanquishing babies, even evil ones.
If we're going to get rid of someone evil in this house, it should be Phoebe.
Yeah. This is when Chris brings up the whole, like, he's like, okay, well, this is the whole baby Hitler argument, right? Like, if you knew that it was going to grow up to be Hitler, would you kill him, right? So Chris is like, no, if you kill this baby, that means you're going to be saving future innocence. But again, they do not bring up the parallel between Wyatt and this baby, even though Wyatt's friends with this baby. It would be so easy to dovetail these stories together and make it make sense. But they never do.
Yeah. Could have been a good moment for Chris, too, when they bring that up and he has to make that realization.
Yeah, that's his whole thing, is the Wyatt storyline, but it's like they barely know what to do with him other than him have a stick up his butt and be mad at them.
Yeah, Orban yell orders.
Yeah. So he says, if we don't get rid of this baby before the pack shows up, we're going to be in trouble because there's no known vanquishing potion. Even though, as I pointed out, they killed the mom easily with a power line, so I think they'll be okay. Yeah.
So they know what they should work on. So they're like, of course, electricity. We got to make a potion.
Yeah. They don't. And they say there's no known vanquishing potion, but then later they're just making a potion.
They just go, we threw everything into this potions, like you were saying when we watched it. Why don't they just throw everything into a potion all the time then? If that makes it more powerful. Yeah. I thought you need specific things for each potion, but no, you just throw everything in there.
Fiddle-dee-dee, I vanquish thee. And that's it.
Stupid Charmed.
So Piper's like, no, I can't kill the baby. And then Chris is like, I'm gonna go tell Leo.
Leo likes killing babies.
Leo loves to kill people. Right, James Avery? Meanwhile, in Daryl's plot, he seems shocked that Paige wants to use a spell to help, even though he specifically asked for magical assistance.
Yeah.
He's like, a spell, huh? Like, you asked for it.
Yeah, you said I need magical assistance.
Why is she there? What do you think she has some sort of like hostage negotiation skills that you don't have?
Yeah.
So this is when Paige goes, fiddle-dee-dee, you're invincible.
This would be a useful spell a bunch of times in this show. As any time they're trying to protect someone, they should do this because they almost always lose whoever they're protecting.
Why didn't they do that for that guy they blew the hole into the middle of, and then death was coming after him and all that? They had so many people. So this makes Daryl strong, like super strong and bulletproof.
He's like Superman, and he doesn't know his own strength type of deal.
Yeah. So he is invincible.
Mm-hmm.
They never cast the spell again. They never use it on anyone. They don't use it on themselves.
Yeah.
They don't. This would be so useful.
It's the super cheat code spell.
And this is one that Paige just knows off the top of her head. So apparently she could have used this in other situations and didn't.
Even if for some reason you want to say they can't do this on themselves, they could do it on Daryl all the time. Have him be Superman, come in and help.
You think Andy would have liked to be invincible? I guess Paige wasn't around at the time, but this is a spell they could just do?
Yeah, she just threw this out there. Oh, yeah, I can do this. Huh?
Huh? This is just for a comedy subplot that really goes nowhere in the end.
No.
Cut it out.
So she asks how Daryl feels, and he says, feels good.
I also don't get, because, he runs up in front of the guy with the hostages and gets shot. And neither of them care about this. Like, we're just going to show off blatant supernatural powers here in front of a bunch of normies.
Nobody at all. This never comes up again in Daryl's life that bullets were shot at him and bounced off of him and he was fine.
You remember the time during the hostage negotiation thing? You just walked in front of the gunman and got shot.
This was in front of a gunman. This was in front of multiple hostages. This was in front of a SWAT team and a crowd. Paige drove there so she wouldn't be seen orbing, but they do this in front of everyone who is staring specifically at Daryl walking up to the hostage situation.
Orbing does not mean fucking shit after that.
And also, this doesn't fix the fact that the hostages aren't bulletproof. They never think like the hostages that are being held hostage for the specific threat of he will shoot them if someone comes over.
That's why that's why they don't usually just go right in, because they're threatening the hostages.
Like, look, it's not perfect, but Daryl is wearing a bulletproof vest. He does have some protection here. The hostages do not.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, this guy, who apparently Daryl knows so well and would never hurt anyone, immediately threatens him and not the hostage and shoots him point blank multiple times.
He's supposed to have a relationship with this guy, even. He's he doesn't care at all about blowing Daryl away.
He said he would never hurt him. They made this whole thing about how this was an innocent, and then Paige is like, I gotta save the innocent, and Daryl's like, I can't lose this guy, he means too much to me. We never see this interaction. We don't see a negotiation. We don't even see him going like, oh man, I can't believe you shot me. You're better than this.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
This might as well have been just any random FUD off the street.
Yeah, I don't know why they bother to add that backstory to it and then never have it pay off.
Yeah, they could have had Daryl talk him down, and then it's like, oh, thank God he was bulletproof because he could have made a huge mistake, or, they could have done anything, but we don't see any of this.
Mm-hmm.
The way he stops the situation is all off screen. We don't even know how it went down. The next time we cut to them, he just has him and the hostages are free.
Yeah.
So, while this is going on, after he gets shot, Paige sees this. She smiles triumphantly and walks away like her job is done. But the situation's not over.
No.
Do something. Do it.
She's like, I want to save an innocent, and then she's like, bye, before it even happens?
Yeah, I don't know why she thinks she needs to leave at that moment.
He's not safe yet. Daryl might be safe. The other guy could be shot by the SWAT team. Anything could happen.
Yeah.
He already shot at Daryl. They could have taken the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Speaking of infuriating, Leo's on the Golden Gate fucking bridge.
Yeah, start of this crap.
It is the start. This is the very first time that someone orbs to the Golden Gate Bridge, and they decided this was the meeting place.
Yeah, this is where the elders always hang out as of this episode.
Yeah, but the way Leo says it, he says that he's communing with the others. So he's standing there with like his eyes closed and his arms out and some angelic music playing, like he's like telepathically talking to them or something. But any other time they just appear there to meet, like they don't have Elderland. I don't know why he needs to be on there and not Elderland, but they built the set, so I guess they gotta fucking use it.
Yeah, it's always on the bridge now instead of Elderland.
And then he tells Chris, like Chris orbs in, and he says that the people below can't see him, but they can see Chris. Is this how it's ever worked?
What?
He says, like, yeah, you look crazy talking to yourself up here, but they can't see me. It's like, elders, are they invisible? Has this ever been a thing?
Don't think.
Why do they say this? It doesn't need to be said and be confusing.
It's not like anyone sees him and it matters, so yeah.
Yeah, and if people can see them, they point out that people can see them, and why wouldn't they see them? Why does no one ever report all of these people showing up on top of the Golden Gate Bridge all the time?
Mm-hmm.
This is a regular meetup spot for them.
Yeah.
So anyway, at the manor, Piper tells Wyatt, like, she's taking him up to the attic, and she's like, don't orb back to that demon, baby. Don't you do it. If only she knew how to bind his powers.
But I don't want to, for some reason.
Even though this is a danger to everyone.
I want a normal life, except I want my baby to have powers it doesn't understand.
Yeah, another parallel they fail to capitalize on. The Manticore baby can also teleport. It shimmers. That's what demons do. So it shimmers up to Wyatt instead. And as Piper said a long time ago, I give up. So this is when Phoebe bursts in and she goes, I've had it with men. Stupid Jason going to Rome or whatever.
Shut up. Yep, it's always the most pressing issue in the world, isn't it? Your stupid love life.
And Piper's like, well, look at the bright side. You're probably going to die soon anyway.
It would be the bright side.
And the reason why she says she might die soon is because the Manticores are probably going to show up to get the baby, and then she mentions that they don't have a vanquishing potion. There's no known vanquishing potion. Even though, again, they killed the mom at the beginning of the episode. Why are they worried about this?
Mm-hmm.
And Phoebe's like, well, I guess we got to kill the baby then. Guess we got to do that. I guess, he was born evil, like you said.
I'm going to write articles about this. Oh, the baby's annoying you. Guess you got to kill it then.
I don't feel too bad about this. I feel a little bad, but,
It's not going to inconvenience us. Let's kill it.
Wait a minute. He kind of looks like a baby.
Piper has perhaps a little bit of humanity left in her. She's like, maybe we don't. Why does Wyatt not think this baby's evil? Something's not adding up here. She's forgetting the fact Wyatt is also a stupid baby. Like, yeah. Wyatt can be fooled.
I trust this baby vouches for him.
Yeah, Wyatt doesn't know. Wyatt has a protective force field, but he can be tricked by evil. He's been tricked before. Mm-hmm. So why? Of course he's just a dumb baby.
Truly, the baby is the smartest of us all.
This is when Phoebe picks Wyatt up and starts scolding the demon baby, like, you leave him alone, I'll bind your powers or whatever. And then the demon baby shrieks. He does this little manticore call. This summons the baby daddy. Why does it summon the baby daddy? Because I thought at this point he was a manticore, but he's not. So how does he get summoned?
I don't know.
Just coincidentally, he knew where they were? Like, how did he track them?
I don't know. He apparently is tuned into the baby manticore shrieks or something somehow.
I guess he must have had some way of tracking the baby because he tracked to where the burlap sack was where the baby used to be. So maybe it's one of the spells that he cast on himself. It's all vague. They're not specific about anything.
Yeah.
But apparently he's made himself super powerful because they can't blow him up or vanquish him either.
Mm-hmm.
So any old ding-dong human can just cast a bunch of spells on themselves.
Yeah.
They don't even say that he was a witch. How did he do all of this?
I don't know.
They just say he was a human, so he's just a normal guy?
I guess. Yeah, one that boned a manticore.
Yeah. Well, apparently the Manticore boned him, and this was not... He did not consent to this, and that's something they skim over.
Yeah, that's...
quite a bit.
So yeah, in the end, she did deserve to be up.
Yeah, she did. So yeah, baby daddy's shown up. They call him the Beast through the episode. It's not until the very last scene that they're like, oh, by the way, what's your name? Derek? Cool. Derek. He shows up and he flings Phoebe into Piper. A fight ensues. They get flung all over the place in this episode. I feel like there's a high amount of flinging happening in this one.
The fling on Phoebe was very good and very deserved. She just comes in and acts like such an idiot. It's like very cathartic to see her thrown across the room. I
do love, especially in HD, but you can also go frame by frame now that you got it on Blu-ray and stuff. But like, I do love all of the stunt doubles having to wear the skimpy clothes, but then also put protection on somewhat. So like, suddenly like Phoebe has a longer shirt on underneath her other shirt as she's flung across the room. Mm-hmm. But they still, man, these stunt doubles were working hard on Charmed. I mean, like, female stunt doubles have it a lot harder in general because the costumes are usually, like, a lot thinner than guys. But, like, especially on Charmed, and especially Phoebe's stunt double, really do not have a lot of room to put padding in anywhere. Mm-hmm. And yeah, they're working double time in this episode because everyone's getting flung all over the place, every scene. So yeah, this fight ensues, and the baby daddy can't get to the baby because Wyatt's putting this protective shield around them. So instead, he grabs Piper and then shimmers away with her. In the next scene, Phoebe is scrying for Piper. She can't find her, I think because there's some sort of magical cloak is over them or something. Paige is back, and she's like, oh, sorry, I was off doing that side thing, but I guess I'm back now. And this is when Phoebe explains that the guy who showed up seemed more human than a manticore, and that was my first indication he wasn't a manticore. I was like, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's like, he was more beast-like. I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, not really. They're all beast-like.
Yeah, I don't know why he's more beastly than them. Because he's like a hunchback.
Beauty and the Beast, get it?
Yeah, they're doing sort of a Beauty and the Beast thing, which is why they call him the Beast. Really cruel.
That's cruel.
I'm Derek, come on.
Derek. Everyone's really dumb in this episode. They make it out like it's a mystery. They're like, why did he want that baby? How could he? Why is he after that baby, do you think? Why are they this dumb? It takes them so long into the episode for them to even reveal that this is his child, even though it's obvious this is his child from the very first scene that he's in. Mm-hmm. But they're like, wonder what he wanted that baby for.
I'll never know.
Paige suggests, this is pretty good, why don't we make the baby cry again? And then we'll summon that beast guy, and then we can torture him into saying where Piper is.
Oh, jeez. Wow. Just a little bit of torture.
Torture. Just casual torture mention.
Yeah.
Monster.
Torture.
Yeah, who's the real monster here?
Who's the monster?
Who's the monster? But they don't debate any of these moral questions here. Yeah. And also, like, if they don't think this is a manticore, why do they think that the manticore scream's gonna summon him?
Mm-hmm. I guess because it did the other time.
But why did it?
No.
So Phoebe's like, well, we can't do all that torturing or any of this unless we have a vanquishing potion. Like, she's fine with that plan. Yeah. Just they need a potion to get rid of him once he gets there.
Torture sounds good. We just need to have a good way to torture. Yeah.
We'll torture him and then we'll kill him with a vanquishing potion. And then Paige is like, yeah, I'll get to work on that. As if they have some sort of recipe to follow. Yeah. On the page in the Book of Shadows, they said had no known vanquishing potion on it, but now they do. Mm-hmm. And then later in the episode, Piper says she made it, but she didn't. We saw Paige make it.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Also, if they're making this Manticore vanquishing potion, which is what it is, why do they think it'll work on this beast guy if he isn't a Manticore?
Because they're idiots. They threw everything in it, so it should kill everything.
Everything but the kitchen sink. But it doesn't kill him. They use it on him later, and he's stronger than the vanquishing potion.
It's like, if the show wasn't so dumb, they would have been working on a device, that let them channel electricity.
Nah. Maybe if it was the first season of the reboot, and then Macy was still into her science and magic thing, maybe. But they're too stupid on this show.
It should have been, because they revealed that was the weakness. Like, you don't have something like, oh, of course, fire is the weakness. Anyway, let's come up with something that has nothing to do with fire. Like, that's what this was, is electricity.
What if they just throw a bunch of bullshit into a cauldron and it works out?
Yeah.
How about that?
Like, no way to vanquish this thing. Let's just work on the way to vanquish it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh well, let's just go home. And then they go home. What? The real irate gamer way of solving the plot issue. Just don't. Yeah. Let's just go home.
Let's just go home. The end.
Paige explains. She's like, oh, well, I think the baby daddy, he's probably holding Piper hostage as leverage so that he can get the baby. And then Phoebe is like, well, how are you such a hostage expert? And then she's like, oh, well, because an hour ago I was part of this hostage situation. Even though all she did was show up, cast a spell, and leave. She wasn't part of the hostage negotiations. She didn't pick up any skills from that.
And Daryl comes in there, I thought you were very interested in demon babies. Like, I am. And then he leaves.
Dude. Oh, stupid Teague. Now you're all super powerful and you got super strength. Oh, I don't care.
It's the night of the demon babies, Mitch.
Why? Night of the demon babies. It's the night of the demons. Why was Dorian Gregory stuck on shows with supernatural people who could not give a shit? Why is this the thing he kept getting roped into?
Yeah.
I guess that's why he got the job on Charm. They're like, oh yeah, after Baywatch Nights, we got the people for you. These are the characters for you.
You can deal with disinterested protagonists.
So this is when Chris and Leo orban, and suddenly Paige tells them to whisper so they won't wake up the baby, even though she and Phoebe were talking at normal volume this whole time. Suddenly it's like, oh, you gotta whisper. And then inconsistently through the rest of the scene, they're either whispering or not. Very strange. So Paige is still team the baby isn't inherently evil, but this is when Exposition Leo is like, I'm going to set things straight.
As a father, all babies are evil.
All babies are evil. He says that not everyone is born morally neutral. Demons are born predisposed to evil. Fuck off.
Yeah, no.
The stupid predisposed to evil thing. Born predisposed to evil.
Yeah. Well, it's like these things just act like, like they're creatures. They don't seem to have evil agendas. Like, you can interpret their what they do to humans as being evil, but it just seems like they're acting within their animalistic natures.
They've met demons that weren't evil outside of Cole when he redeemed himself. Like,
sure, but just the thing that's the issue right now is these things, and they're just like, they're creature things.
Yeah, they don't seem to confront the fact that they're doing what nature tells them to do. This seems like a very different situation than like possessed Oogie Boogie demons that they normally come across.
It's like saying bears are predisposed to evil because they would attack it if you ran up to them.
Yeah, demons is a very wide spectrum of things in this show. And they're just like oh, they're all evil. And I just don't understand why Leo, who is a genetic pacifist, by the way, who sword fights and does other shit that pacifists don't do, why he wouldn't be like, you know what, maybe actually we're in charge of our own destinies. Isn't that a whole big thing on the show? They're in charge of their own destinies instead of this charm prophecy and all that, and like go on about that all the time.
They're just in charge of their own density.
Anyway, thanks for that, Leo. He takes Wyatt somewhere else so they can deal with less babies on set for a little while. Meanwhile, Daryl has ended the hostage situation off screen. Never mind how, it's just over.
The comedy throws the guy through the squad car.
Yeah, he's like, he rips the door off the squad car because he doesn't know his own strength. He throws the guy through it, and he blows through the other door. Somehow this guy is not crushed to death.
Yeah, he's just kind of like a little myth, like, wow, what are you?
Yeah, he's not even injured slightly by this.
He's like, yeah, I think like that's brutality or something, and beating the shit out of him. Now he's just like, what?
What? There is nothing about their interaction that indicates to me they have a pre-established relationship of any sort. He even he's all like, yeah, I'm a badass punk, and then throws I don't think they had a nice conversation. He just threw everyone around and grabbed him, and they're punk.
Punk.
Instantly, he's just cocky, invincible Daryl and doesn't give a shit.
I don't know how a bunch of people wouldn't have seen this too, because they're not just going to be like, well, we got the guy. Let's leave him alone with Daryl.
Yeah, even if they
no
didn't
one else
see
be
it,
an eye shot.
Even if they didn't see it, you would see the car ripped apart. What happened there? I don't know.
This guy's face was half crushed in by the time we cut him back to the station, Daryl. Oh no, I'm a badass punk.
Yeah. Inconsistent how much strength happens from very little effort from him, because it seems like from what he does, he would just hold the guy and then immediately snap his bones.
Yeah.
Well, that's the end of that scene. So, meanwhile, Piper is in a Beauty and the Beast situation with the Beast. Unlike the Manticores, he can talk, because he's a guy.
He can talk. He can talk.
Believe it. Maybe he's not such a bad guy. Seems like he cares about this baby. Maybe there's something else to it. So that was the end of that scene. Meanwhile, Paige and Phoebe, they have somehow come up with a vanquishing potion that didn't exist very easily. And then Paige says, as an aside, this is the most powerful potion they've ever made?
Because they threw everything in it.
They vanquished the source of all evil with a potion, and this is the most powerful. They were more powerful than the source of all evil? You needed a more powerful potion than that?
Mm-hmm.
If that's the most powerful, why don't they use this again on other stuff? Maybe they do. I don't know, but
I doubt it.
I don't know. So this is when Jason calls.
Put everything on hold. It's Jason.
This is when Phoebe argues with him a bunch. The baby starts making noise, so she hangs up. The audience is left with bated breath as to what's going to happen with that storyline. This is when a manticore shows up, flings Paige away, more flinging, and Phoebe uses the most powerful potion they've ever made and vanquishes him. Cool. This is when more of them show up, then they fling Phoebe, and then Baby Daddy shows up, and he punches a fist through one of the manticores, and again vanquishes an unvanquishable thing very easily.
Yeah.
He could just punch them and vanquish them. Again, he was just a guy who casts spells on himself. He's not even a charmed one.
Mm-hmm. I love these stupid manticores also poof away like every demon. It's just...
they explode when they're vanquished.
Yeah, it's so stupidly clean. But I love, that the one that got injured, it dropped its yellow blood on the ground. Yeah. That stays. But if you kill it entirely, it all just cleanly poofs away into some dust. They
got blood and guts and stuff, as established by them pulling out guts of other demons. But I guess if they die, they explode.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Yeah. So he grabs the demon baby. The beast grabs the demon baby. Phoebe throws the vanquishing potion at him, and it doesn't kill him, but it injures his hump. Again, this is the most powerful potion they've ever made. More powerful than them vanquishing the source, apparently. But it didn't kill this guy.
Yeah.
He teleports away with the baby. Chris and Leo orb in, and they've consulted the elders. And they're like, well, the elders agree. If we can't take the baby back to the manticores, just kill it. I'm not sure why the option of just giving the baby back was just now being brought up. They never thought maybe we should just take the baby back to its kind?
Yeah.
Stupid elders, just fucking kill him, whatever.
We don't care.
It does seem like the elders don't really care if the manticores are killed or not, though, outside of if they have to. Mm-hmm. Just give the baby back and then go about your business. I don't care. Mm-hmm. They're not that bad. They just eat people.
Yeah.
And then Phoebe says this is all Jason's fault.
Yeah.
And Leo says, how? And she's like, you're just a guy, you wouldn't get it. Never explains. Fucking idiot. So the plan now is to team up with the manticores to kill the other guy and get Piper back. Brilliant. Let's team up with the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, how you doing? Good to be evil.
I mean... all they really know, though, is these things are trying to find their baby.
Yeah.
So it's I guess to some degree it makes sense if you view it that way. They don't know what the other guy's deal is.
Yeah. I mean, they are just trying to get their baby back. They just eat people.
Yeah. They're dangerous ass things.
The thing is, the Manticores and this guy are having a custody battle over the baby. Who's more deserving? Who knows? Meanwhile, Piper is about to leave into the much lower quality footage outside the house. But this is when the Beast shows up and he's injured. She feels bad for him, notices him being nice to the baby. She starts tending to his wounds. And then this is when she says...
That's when they start saying, there's something there that wasn't there before.
He's like, well, how do you know so much about this potion they used? And she said, because she made it, which isn't true.
Yeah, what?
Did she write the recipe? Just as an aside, she wrote the spell. She didn't tell them she wrote a vanquishing spell.
Vanquish all potion. Add all ingredients.
Add everything.
Done and done.
And then she's like, hey, that baby's yours, isn't it? Ah, who fucking knew?
They play the record scratch.
So this is when he explains his whole backstory. Manticores sometimes breed with humans to make hybrids so that they can blend in the human world. So he was a human that happened to, and he got away. And he wants to raise his son away from the Manticores. So he used a bunch of spells to turn himself into a monster thing to make him stronger. They really gloss over the whole backstory.
Yeah.
With the fact that he was non-consensually made to father a child with this manticore.
Yeah. They're pretty bad.
This is a whole other thing. Also, I kind of feel like if they wanted that to be an element of the story, they could have made it so he was like a manticore hybrid or something that wanted to like help raise the kid and wasn't so bad and maybe wasn't as animalistic as the other ones or something.
Sure.
It would still be a little messy, but I don't know. It seemed like they were just like, well, if we make the baby half human, it's fine.
Or the manticores could have talked because they want to act like they have normal abilities to decide whether they're evil or not.
Yeah, they could have had an enemy mine situation where it's like there's a manticore and she can't understand it, but she understands that it loves the baby, and like maybe this is a not a black and white situation, something like that.
Yeah, would have been better.
I do love they're like, oh, a half human, half demon. I guess he isn't inherently evil, right, Cole? So, in order to spit in Cole's face, Piper decides to help this guy. In the underworld, this is where the manticores are. Because they're like animal things, how did they get to the underworld? I guess they can shimmer, teleport, right? I guess they teleport. So they're in there eating other demons. So I guess like they just seem to be eating demons and not humans. So maybe there's not really an issue here.
Yeah, it seems like they eat more demons than humans.
I don't think they show them eating humans at any point. No. It's always demons.
Yeah. So maybe they're mostly good.
Yeah.
It's good to have these things around eating demons.
For the demon ecosystem.
Yeah. So that's why they get an influx of demons after the dummies come in and blow a bunch of them up.
They're just like gorily tearing apart these like bodies and eating them with like guts and blood all over them, whatever. And then Phoebe and Paige are like, they orb in like, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You want to
we have a proposition for you.
We're going to form the tag team of the century.
So they orb into the baby daddy's house, immediately try to vanquish him. Yeah, die!
I'd like, though, too, like, we don't really see these things understanding. We just know they understood somehow because they're teamed up with them in the next scene. But, like, what if they came in with this deal and then they just got eaten?
Yeah, hilarious.
It's like, they don't understand you, you idiots.
I don't really understand how they got from point A to point B here. The whole point of teaming up with the manticores was so that they could find where Piper was with that guy, give them the baby back and get Piper. So they didn't know where Piper was, but then they orb into where Piper was and they did know where Piper was. But they couldn't find her because there was a cloak, a magical cloak on the house that made them unable to find her. And I'm unclear if that was removed. There was a part where Piper blasts like a force field away from the front door so she can get out. But I don't know if that's the magical cloak or a separate thing.
Yeah, I guess maybe. Makes as much sense as anything.
But if that happened, they could have found her by scrying. If they realized they could find her by orbing, now, why did they do the manticore deal at that point?
because they're already doing it.
Might as well not welsh on the deal. We made a deal. And also, like, Piper is having this, like, argument with Derek. Like, she's like, why don't you let me take you back to my house? I have a guy who can heal you, and then you'll be fine. He's like, no, they'll be looking for me there or whatever. But
no, I'm not a sign. He can't heal me.
No, he can't heal me. I'm not a sign. But, like, I don't know if they knew the cloaking shield was gone, if it was even gone, or the cloaking force field or whatever. But if it was gone, and they knew it was gone, she could have just called Leo to come heal that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But she didn't.
No.
She forgot she could do that, even though they do it later in the episode. So this is when the Manticores show up. They beat up Derek, and then they leave. Job well done, Paige and Phoebe.
Dummies come in, they beam Piper out. She's like, wait just a damn minute.
Yeah, they beam out for 1 second and then beam back in. And within that span of time, the Manticores grabbed the baby, left the guy dying on the floor.
Yep.
They just like the Tasmanian devil just left him behind.
When they eat him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Take them back.
I guess because they don't seem to eat humans, do they? They eat demons.
Yeah.
I thought it was humans, but it was just demons through this episode.
Demons. You lied to us, Charmed.
I don't think they ever say they eat humans. I guess I just assumed that, but then when I was talking to you, I'm like, no, it is just demons in this episode.
I guess that's why they left it. They specifically don't eat humans, and if they left that guy.
He told Piper earlier, he's like, well, you can't turn me back into a normal human guy, unless I'm dead. And then he turns back into a human guy, and I'm like, oh, I guess he's dead, but I guess he's just dying. So
that didn't make any sense.
I don't know. They take him back to the manor, and then Leo heals him, and then he's just a normal guy again.
Yeah. I just had to almost die, I guess. I was being dramatic when I said I had to die
I don't
to change
know how
back.
he knew that was because he apparently said he didn't know what he was doing, just cast a bunch of random fucking spells on himself, and that's how he ended up that way. So I don't know how he even knew how it was going to turn out.
In the book of spells that wear off when you die or almost are dead.
And he's suddenly he's happy to be human again. He's like, yay, I can't believe it. I never thought I'd be human again. But he cast all those spells on himself so he could protect his son, who is now kidnapped by the things he wanted to protect them from, and now he's helpless. So why is he happy about this? Should he be like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Can you get me that book back and turn myself back into that thing?
Fiddle-dee-dee, make me the beast. So now they gotta go to the underworld and then steal the baby back. So the sisters show up there, and Paige is like, well, how about I orb the baby over to us? They're all the Manticores are sleeping with the baby in the middle of them, on the floor. And Paige is like, yeah, I'll orb the baby over. But then they just assume that the baby will teleport back to the Manticores for some reason, so they can't do that. That's why they have to do the dumb solution.
What is this? I don't understand.
They have to write a reason why they can't do the easy thing that they can do, and then they're like, now we can do a dumb thing.
Let's slaughter them.
Yay!
Here's our hero who's coming in to kill the things they made a deal with.
To break their deal. Yeah, okay, the plan. Do peekaboo with the baby until the baby teleports over on his own, and then that wakes up the Manticores, and then they can just throw a bunch of vanquishing potions at them and kill them in a massacre.
And then that's why there's a bunch more demons.
The other Manticore packs are like, what the fuck? We will kill you. We'll hunt you till the end of your days. Yeah, they welsh on the deal.
They go, we'll make a deal with you to go get your baby back, huh? And then they just show back up at their place. They don't know why. And then they kill them. Those are the heroes.
They set up this whole dilemma, this moral dilemma, nature versus nurture. Is this baby inherently evil? Does being a demon make him evil? And then they settle on, the baby's only half evil, and then the Manticores are the evil half, so we can kill them and it's fine.
Yeah.
Blee, blee, blee.
Bunch of bullshit.
And then we can just kill all of them in a massacre and it's fine.
Like, just imagine that from their perspective. They come in, like, we'll make a deal with you. Go get the baby. And then you just see them come back with the baby. You're like, everything's all right, finally. They teleport back in. Kill.
There's like so many times when you think about it from the villain's perspective. Like, why are they the bad guy? That when that fucking necromancer's just minding his own business, they come in to vanquish him. Like, calm down. So yeah, they have the baby. They vanquished all of the manticores, and Paige is like, so much for nature being more important than nurture. But nothing that's happened with the baby has demonstrated either way.
Yeah.
That didn't change anything from their argument.
No, it didn't.
Well, my work is done here.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?
So now baby daddy has his baby back, and oh, by the way, his name is Derek. They're like, what's your name? Derek, thanks. Derek. And Piper says to, give him a call if he ever needs them to bind his baby's powers. The utter hypocrisy. If you, not for my baby, a binding for thee, but not for me.
The one that will accidentally summon dragons and stuff, almost kill us all.
Yeah. Their baby's way more dangerous. You know what? The Manticore baby, I don't hear anything about the Manticore baby being the king emperor of the earth in the future. In the year 2000 whatever that they set that in.
I don't know why he didn't want it done, though, because, like, why would you want your baby to teleport around when it doesn't know what it's doing, or accidentally summon manticores if it does that scream?
Yeah, and he was like, oh no, he's a good kid, it's fine. Like, I don't think it was fine prior to this. You remember all the shit that happened? You became a beast?
It's a baby. You don't know what kind of kid it is yet.
Yeah, you don't know what kind of kid it is. Kids are irresponsible. You can bind their powers until they're responsible enough to use them. Yeah. It's just like getting a license to drive. It just makes sense.
And like, I don't know how you'd bind some things, because it'd just be part of its genetics, right? Like, it's got some animal-like powers. Like, you can't be like, I'm going to bind to this cat's powers so it can't run as fast.
Surely you can bind its teleporting, because that's magical. But like the venom, that's not mystical. It's just venom, right?
That's just, that would be part of its biology.
Just poisoning other babies. I don't know how it's going to work out with this Derek guy, but I feel like it won't.
Well, he never showed up again, so maybe that was better off.
The baby killed him.
Out.
No, the baby killed him.
The baby killed him. Ate him. Like, I smell demon on you.
Yeah, I'm not sure why this kid can't screech again and summon more manticores and then kill his now powerless dad, but everything's fine. End of the scene. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, Daryl's super strong. He break things. Funny.
He break desk.
Laugh. That's the end of that story. We don't even see Paige undo it.
No.
It was just an, by the way, some stuff happened with Daryl.
Need to fill in some time.
Yeah, like, it's like, okay, I want to see more. I would rather have seen an episode about this Daryl plot than the demon baby plot, to be honest. Speaking of things that I would rather not see, Phoebe goes to the newspaper. She is wearing a jacket with no top or bra. It's like a Letterman jacket style, but like she's got it like unzipped.
It's weird because it has like 4 pockets that are colored differently, so it just kind of makes it look like she's got 4 boobs.
Yeah, it's kind of like a peachy pink color.
She like udders or something.
She breasted boobily into the room. Jason is there. He canceled his flight to Rome because he didn't want to lose Phoebe. I guess it was all right for her to be an unprofessional.
Yeah, I was like, when he came in and acted like a little baby idiot, I was like, oh, I gotta stay with her.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose this.
I don't want to lose all of this that I got going on.
Actually, I'm going to see if I can get that flight to Rome going again.
Yeah, I'm going to go live at the winery, actually. I can take the winery or the winery. Okay. Not both.
At least one makes me drunk.
Apparently the big problem here wasn't her terrible behavior. It was the fact that she is intuitive of his emotions before he is in tune with them. Like, before he can say what he feels, she says what he feels. He just would rather get to it on his own time. Whatever. Also, he loves her too. Who cares? The end.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're going to work out forever.
What are your final thoughts on Little Monsters? What?
Garbage. Utter garbage. Season 6 nonsense. Not trying. Ugh. Like there's a thought, I guess, in here, but it's executed so poorly. It gets so muddled and all that.
Yeah.
So, no, it doesn't come together. I don't know what they thought they were doing with the manticores. It's a wreck.
See, I agree that it's a complete mess. I do think for season 6, for them to even attempt asking the question of nature versus nurture is quite out of character for them and shows slight more depth than usual. If only they had paid off any of it.
Would be happier with it, if they came to any kind of conclusion that meant anything.
Yeah, like there's like elements that could have been something, but it all doesn't come together very well.
Like they glance over the issue because they go, oh, it's half human, so I guess that means it's not all evil or something. We don't have to answer the question.
Yeah.
That's bad. Lazy.
Right.
They ask a question they have no intention of answering or even trying to come up with an answer for.
Yeah, by season 6, I think it was long past when they could try to make any sort of case for this at that point, but then they just add in more like demons are genetically predisposed to evil and all this other shit where it's like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are you talking about? Anyway, do you have a Margoyle or a Carman, Phelan?
Stupid Phoebe. Just annoyed me too much every time. Just when she derails a story all the time with, my relationship had something stupid happen in it. I need to go on about that forever. I can't stand it. That's all she did. Or she wanted to murder a baby sometimes. When she came in and said, I don't know what to do. I'm going to take the baby and tell the other thing to stay away from the other baby. And then she made it screech and summon the monsters. Like, good job, Phoebe. You deserve to be flung across the room.
This is Jason's fault.
Yeah, and her going into the meeting, like everything she did was annoying.
Yeah.
She's the Margoyle.
Who's your Carman? Do you have one?
Daryl.
Daryl?
Super Daryl.
He was kind of a jerk, but I guess he still accomplished something.
Yeah, he did something that was kind of funny, I guess. I liked he was Super Daryl. He should have had powers more often.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. He should have turned into a car.
Yeah, Carman. He'd be a better Carman than Carman. All right, well, my Margoyle, I think I'm going to make it Paige. Because she didn't really have a lot of urgency to either of the situations. It was good that she was arguing on behalf of the baby, but I think in the Daryl thing, she could have not ditched him so quickly for this innocent saving thing and acted like she did anything when she didn't to save that kid. And then she didn't check up on it, even though she said that was the reason for her life, for her existence.
Yeah.
Gave up on that pretty quickly. I think my Carman is going to be Derek, the Beast.
What?
Because he cared about his kid. He was a little bit dumb, but
Yeah, I guess he accomplished quite a few spells.
He was apparently more powerful than the source of all evil because they couldn't vanquish him, so...
Yeah.
He got a lot done for some random guy with a vague backstory.
I guess you can just make a potion that will vanquish an unvanquishable thing if you... decide you're going to try.
Yeah, he could just punch through things and vanquish them when the charmed ones are like, oh, I don't know, what do we do?
Make a potion?
Make a potion? Yeah, just throw everything in. Just saying, that guy accomplished a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, well, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, we'd appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, or reviewed wherever you're enjoying this podcast. You can catch us on YouTube under youtube.com/movie nights the series and youtube.com/Phalis. You can support us on Patreon, see videos ahead of time, or vote on Charmed Rewind polls. You can see my Patreon at patreon.com/movie nights. Phelan's Patreon is patreon.com/Phalis. Thanks to Peter Hunter for editing the podcast for us and the amazing theme song. You can find him at Pretor Hunter on YouTube and under other social medias. You can also listen to his podcast at themonstersaredue.podcast.com. He talks about the Twilight Zone with his wife. What hashtags should we use?
Hashtag vanquish the baby.
Hashtag demon ecosystem. Hashtag We're done.
We're done.
We put that in there, and then people are like, is that the last podcast?
Yeah.
Are you done? Hashtag last podcast ever. I think that'll do good, actually. And then people will be like, oh no, what happened? Oh, it's clickbaited us. Nothing happened. Hey, if you got to the end here and you were fooled by that, got ya.
Anyway, here's why we're ending the podcast.
Hashtag not really. All right, we'll see you Charmanders next time. Merry Christmas!